What do I like about Hong Kong? Every moment there's something exciting going on.
One minute, I'm around huge buildings. Then the next, it's traditional Hong Kong.
I love all the yummy food. After all my crazy shopping.
Suddenly, I'm in a different world.
It's wonderful! Day and night, there's always so much happening.
Hong Kong, Asia's world city.
The 5th edition of MaxiMICE, an annual leadership platform for the meetings, incentives, conferences and exhibitions industry, was held recently in Delhi. The event sought to bring together the 3 key stakeholders, that is the corporates, agencies and the tourism board, on the same platform to understand each other better. To this end, 2 engaging panel discussions on the topics solidifying the brand objectives through MICE programs and ensuring engagement programs to stay relevant across networks were held.
I'd like, Nalin, first you to take that up. Is this a case in point that objectivity of the objective is missing?
These kind of engagements, on the technical term of MICE, I think they're very important elements of long-term sales and marketing strategy. I'll talk of sales and marketing. It takes a lot of effort to plan them, still larger effort to execute them, and that means that it takes away a lot of senior management time. It becomes a very, very intensive peg in the whole calendar of events. For this simple fact, it's imperative that there are certain objectives defined clearly for that. Company to company, organization to organization, what is the extent of this definition can change. But entering into these engagements without a defined objective probably doesn't sit very well, and that also means that these activities cannot and will not be carried out consistently over a period of time.
They can't be sustained.
Yeah, they can't.
But why would you see a reason like that? Why is it that the objective or the objective is being lost? What's the rationale for that?
See, one of the issues or one of the probably points could be that what can be extracted out of these activities, probably that point is lost to some people, some organizations, that it is being treated as one of singular event, XYZ, so this one also, so it could be treated as one of the events. And probably the awareness of what it could lead to, what benefits it can have, and what kind of, let me say, long-term advantages can be extracted out of these activities. Probably that understanding is not so evolved at this point of time. That's what I feel.
Samir, I'd like to get you on this. I mean, definition of objective, how important it has been in your experience, and what about the relevance of objectivizing that in the engagement program?
Any engagement initiative or any, I would say, stakeholder management initiative that we've ever taken, having clear objectives at the start itself are critical. And many a times, balancing between objectives and execution, it becomes equally important. Now, in the context of what's and hows, if you look at objectives, is objective a what or a how, and is execution a what or a how? Objectives certainly becomes is pretty clear. It's a what. What is it that we want to achieve and what is it that we are targeting? And execution sometimes get confused with how, whereas it's also a what. Let me give you an example. We have an end objective in mind. We make a plan to achieve that objective, which is a how. But to achieve that plan, what format of engagement, what media of engagement we take is again a what, which is the execution piece.
Sure.
Having clear objectives helps us build the buy-in for that with all the stakeholders, internal or external, one. Secondly, if the objectives are pretty clear, the speed of execution also becomes much faster. And with the clarity of objectives, the flexibility and adaptability in terms of changing the format or picking up the right channel also becomes easier. Right channel of engagement also becomes easier.
Right, Sanjeev, now you're in terms of when you interact with clients, you're on the other side of the fence as opposed to them. And when you talk about objectivity, right, is there complete clarity which you have been a part of in being explained that objectivity when you go around? And at what stage do you really come in to try and understand the objectivity and then execute? Because the what and how factor can only be defined then.
Okay. There are two ways to look at it. One is, are we talking about the real world scenario, or are we talking about the ideal scenario? So the real world, the answer is absolutely no, to be honest with you. And it probably evolves from the fact of MICE being seen as a logistic exercise more than an experiential exercise, unfortunately. Mm-hmm. Whereas if you go back to the, I did happen to get some chance to do a Wikipedia's on what MICE is, the definition of it. It's basically a larger group meeting or engagement which has a clear objective. I mean, that's a fundamental truth about MICE, and that's what differentiates between a group leisure movement and a MICE movement. So I think it's fundamentally, it's important for us to understand what's MICE and what is going to do for you in terms of objectives and what is a leisure movement. So that's one very clear point. So I think, and no offense meant to the brand sitting here, and it's sometimes we lose that bigger picture objective in mind, and Nalin talked about, and I've seen his organization working and striving, and it's months and months that go into kind of putting those objectives in place and looking at this part of the strategy. But when you come to externalizing it, it is done at a level where you only worry about logistics. I mean, you have a gold mines with you, Nalin, let me share that with you and the people who are sitting down here. It's a platform where imagine people who really matter to you, your dealerships. I mean, they are the ones who kind of make your brands work. It's your and Samir would agree with me, it's a manpower, the talent, which probably would run your organizations, right? It's such an important audience that you have. And when you're traveling overseas or within the conferences, they're captive. There's very limited cynicism involved there because people are in a good mood, happier mood. It's a mind space that you have where you can share your vision, your strategies, your plan, your thought sharing.
I wanted your opinion as to why you feel that they are the last mile connectivity. Why do you feel that you have to do all the planning and just the conceptualization, the experience, thought process in-house? What is it? Do you have, first of all, the bandwidth? Do you have an expertise within your circle? Have you chosen consciously to do that?
In my experience, I have seen, if as a client we have defined the objective and handed it over to the event organizer, many a times articulation of that experience falls between cracks. And you spend time on re-articulating in terms of what is it that we want to create over those 2 or 3 days. So what I personally feel is, and whenever we've done large-scale employee programs, we would also sit down with the event organizing firm, which is a subject matter expert, and tell them if I was in the audience as an employee, what experience I would want. Now, you are the best person who can tell me how to create that experience. Rather than just telling them, okay, we have a national sales conference coming up, there'll be 500 people, the hotel has to be good, the venue has to be good, and the sound effects and everything, the ambience has to be good. So that's where I think many a times we also forget to go that extra step to better engage the channel partner.
the sense of engagement is not only about what their role should be, it's also the responsibility that comes with that role. So when you start actually measuring effectiveness, you'd like to know whether they've succeeded or not. So how do you benchmark that? Firstly, I want to know, how do you actually measure effectiveness? And in the scheme of the entire, let's say an event or a program you had, how do you measure the success of an external agency which perhaps has not been brought in at the time he should have?
Absolutely. Since the events come with defined objectives, and they're very important in meeting those objectives, measuring what impact it has is imperative. And again, go back to what I spoke about a few moments earlier. One is the objective assessment. Let's say that's very simple to understand. After the conference is over, you have a feedback session, whether one-on-one, if the group is small. If the group is large, probably you have feedback forms, or even try the digital route. So you have specific feedbacks which you seek from each and every member who attended that activity. And the feedback is sought on various parameters. It could boil down to simple logistics, all kinds, and it could go up to many other factors. However, for me personally, I feel that's one small part of the process, necessary but small part of the process. The bigger issue is, do you see charge among the people who attended that conference? Do you see that on their faces? Now, it's very difficult to measure it. But for us who have been attending and conducting these conferences, when you speak to people during those days, what they are doing, what they are feeling, you get a fair sense of what they have experienced. Have they got the charge, And since any MICE engagement is a culmination of a process, So you set targets for people, you set objectives for people, and tell them that if you are successful, we'll all get together as an activity, as an event. If most of the people have tried hard, they have met their objectives, and they are there qualifying for the MICE or the activity, that clearly means that it's a successful activity.
The second discussion of the evening was ensuring engagement programs stay relevant across networks and put the spotlight on the stakeholder.
Start with you, Ashish. I mean, over these 18 years that you spent of your experience, how effective has MICE been?
See, in the last 18 years, I've been handling this MICE from last about 1 year. But before that, I have an entire field experience. So how it helps is that I know my audience well. I know what they want. So, and the MICE is all about, as you discussed in the first part, that you know your objective. And it's very important that you know your objective and your audience, so you deliver the best. So that's how
you believe that MICE has been effective. Would you like to share with us an experience? Something that comes your top of the mind recall, that because of MICE, this is something that was a standout in terms of effectiveness.
See, MICE help you, it's about I will say, MICE is nothing but a directorial program you have, right? So somebody has a story, which is the objective, and somebody is helping you to cinematography and, showing that entire movie. So we, at our level, think of that script, which is objective. At our level, we have the entire picture in our mind. And that's how we need the help of a MICE who can actually make this entire program live.
But a lot of people think that a movie runs on an item song. What's the item song in MICE?
The item song, they hire for us.
Oh, that's the outside part. Okay, we'll ask Nalin that. How does he create the item song to take things to a different level? Amitabh, what's your experience been like? You've spent a lot of time as well, and you are an advocate of MICE. Correct me if I'm wrong. You believe in the product of MICE, and you believe that it should be there, and perhaps there with a greater forfeiting.
Okay, I'll put it from both the perspective, because there was one gentleman, Samir, handling HR. So MICE from the employee's perspective, MICE from the trade partner's perspective. Engaging them, like he rightly pointed out, if you have the objective, very clearly communicating and not just communicating, buying them in is something that has a huge potential if you have the MICE program running for your organization.
So basically you're saying that you have to create an experience to be more recipient. You have to make the mind more receiving to what you want to communicate. And that's your objective.
Okay, I would not say it is just the objective. Like there is an objective where you need to have a sales team that's superlatively charged. If you go with charging them up, you know, it's not just calling someone who is an expert in motivation and you kind of ask your MICE partner that, okay, I need somebody who can lecture them well. So perhaps you also have sports, games, unwinding and entertainment that's attached to it. So I would put it this way, that objective is I'm taking them there for a product launch, I'm taking them there for, okay, when I'm taking them out, the objective can be different. If you are sharing this with your MICE partner, I think if the partner does a good job, you get a very, very good result.
From your point of view, Navil, what have you got to offer? You've got very basic parameters to work with. You've got a venue, you've got a test. Let's take a menu. You've got a venue, you've got a destination, you've got some experiences thrown in the sense of perhaps a good speaker, some Bollywood, right? Some motivational fact, or something that's entertainment. Is there anything else that you've got to provide?
So I'll take a step back and hear both of them, and very interesting comments that there's an objective to the entire MICE program.
You don't believe that?
I believe that there's an objective and there should be an objective.
Right.
And that's where we come in picture, and there's a very beautiful tool that we use when we collaborate with client, when they set the objectives, which is called the strategic experience mapping exercise. The strategic mapping exercise that we do with the clients, where we actually define the parameters for the entire experiential journey, which is about what you want your stakeholders to feel, think.
I'm sorry to pull you out of this. Just to come back, so you are convinced, as opposed to what Sanjeev said earlier, that they bring you on at the right time, at the stage of actually planning.
There's a difference of opinion here, because while I say that that's the right approach, but a lot of clients would not do it for various reasons, because of confidentiality, because of not being able to trust the partner. It's a partnership, right? It cannot be a one-off engagement. And it takes a lot of time to build that entire journey. So I agree with a lot of clients, but we need enough and more time once the objective is set and laid for us to go and create a very, very effective experiential journey for the stakeholders. So if they give us enough time and they set the objective right along with us, I think that makes a lot of sense, and we can be definitely successful after that.
Do you believe that?
The previous group of people also did not agree, Nalin did not agree that this is something very confidential. To be very honest, when we do a MICE program, there is not much of confidentiality involved. And if it is a strategy pertaining to a product launch or something, you would not divulge it, at least when till the time you are ready to divulge it. So there are certain confidential things, I'm sorry, that are not shared. Even if you hire a MICE partner, you would not even hire an external partner to kind of help you execute that.
So then why would you hire him? You would hire him to take up, of course, do your travel agency work, right? You'll hire him to perhaps select a destination which you would have anyways. You'd just perhaps tell him that this is a better venue, let's select this. What is it that you need him for?
Okay, we need them because of their expertise in knowing the job well. I may not have the kind of time.
Execution. Is there expertise in execution?
I'll come to it. When I said expertise, I did not mean only the execution.
Right.
If it's an employee motivation, like let's assume in durable business, the Diwali period, this October, November, December is a very big sales period. To clock that business, we offer certain MICE programs for our employees. Now, this is something that's not confidential. We certainly share with our partners that, okay, this is it, and they come with strategies, what will motivate them. They actually go around interviewing, they find out what would actually click, how would they feel charged. Sometimes they have recommended, okay, send them with their families to a destination like a beautiful destination like Canada or some place, and we have just done that. Sometimes we may have disagreement. If they say, okay, why don't you send them to Canada, we may say our budget does not permit it. So I'm not saying whatever they recommend is followed. What I meant is we require a mind where they have experts to suggest to them what would motivate them. To check with employees. If I am talking to an area manager, the last line of our business, he would not open up and tell me, boss, I want to kind of enjoy a spa treat, want to go to Ananda. He may not actually say that. So something that he can come and tell me that you should do this, Amitabh. So that's what I meant. The suggestion, the execution, finally the management.
There is a software price, there is a content price as well, apart from just the execution and the hardware. Now, in terms of effectiveness of execution, what are your parameters of judgment? I mean, how do you actually make an execution program, let's say in conjunction with your external party?
So one, I strongly feel and believe that without partnering with whether a travel partner or an event partner, you can't get a success out of the event.
What's the difference between both?
There can be a travel partner who's just managing the hotel, logistics, ground, food, all that stuff, and there's an event partner who's just helping you in the creativity, the stage setup, the entertainment, the speaker, and all collaterals and everything. So there can be one or there can be two also separate. So it depends upon the it depends upon the partner. But I strongly feel and believe that without partnering with them, with the MICE, you can't get the best out of them.
These engagements offer a great opportunity for look and feel of the product. You can actually meet the customer, he can actually see the product, check out the product, even test drive it.
If you need to harness everybody around in the organization around a particular objective or a goal or an end outcome, you need to be consistent in your communication across levels, at different platforms, and just keep it pretty fast.
It's important to go back and see what MICE does for the overall objectivity from a sales and marketing perspective and from a senior management perspective. You know, MICE has a huge impact not only on the personal attributes or from HR perspective or retentions, but it also kind of has a huge influence on how corporates operate.
MICE helps us in putting the entire event together, and wherein we're dealing with mass crowd from different backgrounds, different cultures, and they help us co-create this entire program well, keeping the diverse culture and background in mind, and providing the customized food, stay, and experience for them.
In Hong Kong, a myriad of possibilities await you and your next corporate incentive event or meeting. It's the place where anything is possible. Looking to converge all you need to reward your star performers and build a stronger team? Then Hong Kong is the perfect destination to host your next meeting or incentive trip. As Asia's World City, we offer you the most dynamic and exciting experience of a lifetime. All within a 5-hour flight of half the world's population. It's easy to connect your delegates from all over the world. Organizing an event in Hong Kong is always easy and hassle-free. We are one of the safest and most sophisticated cities in the world. We have visa-free entry for people from 170 countries. Both English and Chinese are official languages. Spanning everything from harbourfront luxury to budget boutique, our choice of hotels is also enormous. We even have hundreds of venues of every conceivable size and shape to cater for small and large group get-togethers. In Hong Kong, we offer professional team-building consultants to enchant and inspire your team.
Welcome to Hong Kong.
Bond your people with creative team-building activities. Stage your own traditional lion dance. Make a noise with traditional Chinese drums. Get them to dress up and sing like Chinese opera stars. Crew a pirate ship hosting a theme party. Enter the excitement of a dragon boat race. Experience the world of Tai Chi. Hong Kong has endless, imaginative, and most importantly of all, fun ways to motivate and inspire your people onwards and upwards. After hours, we will reward you and your delegates with an endless array of exciting things to see and do. Colorful street markets and gleaming shopping malls. Wining and dining choices for every taste. A fascinating blend of Eastern and Western culture. Fabulous attractions, scenic country parks, and picturesque islands just half an hour out of town. You could even take a side trip to Macau and mainland China. When it comes to rewarding, motivating, and inspiring your team, Hong Kong really is the place for a memorable time.
We chose Hong Kong for our Greater China and Southeast Asia regional conventions because of its excellent strategic location. Hong Kong was inevitably the best choice of venues because of its long experience of holding such large meetings.
Hong Kong is the perfect destination for our annual Asia Sales Conference. Ever since we began hosting the conference here, we've seen dramatic regional sales growth year in and year out. Hong Kong offers tremendous opportunities for dining, shopping, spectacular sightseeing, all wrapped up in a safe environment. There's a tremendous variety of things to do for our customers and partners when they're not working.
Hong Kong is the dynamic metropolis where possibilities converge to ensure your next corporate meeting or incentive event is a great success.